because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
I feel like this is, well, the most talked about comeback in British boxing.
Can you see me? Are you sure?
That's easy behind you.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep it nice and simple. This twosome, it works. When are we going to see you back in the ring? When are we going to see Ben in your corner?
I think obviously we're just in the gym at the minute, tickling away, getting some weight off. Listen, it's always the way when people's talking about stuff, people's waiting for it rather than it just happen. Turn up in shape and look, here I am ready. So that's what we're working on at the minute. You know, it's just nothing but shedding a bit of weight. Just a long slog at the minute, you know. So, you know, I spoke to Eddie the other day, give him a text, and obviously we're both in contact. So as soon as I've lost a bit of timber, not got much to go. Well, I'll say not much, but still another 2 stone, 2.5 stone. But that's nothing this day and age. You know, I'm always used to that in my career, and I'll fight when I'm good and ready and in shape. And I'm sure it won't be too long. Definitely this year, anyway.
Yeah, is that one thing that's important to you? Not kind of bow into, not the pressure, but not bow into everyone going when you back bill, and just kind of letting it be your own thing in your own time.
I think every fighter gets asked that question every day, but you know, I know I've been out the ring now for 2 years, so you know, I need to make sure that obviously I'm start my own self training a bit more smart rather than killing myself and slog. I'm not getting any younger, but you know, I miss the sport, so it'd be nice to get back in there and give a little bit back. And there's some big fights out there to be made, so I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah, Ben, obviously, British boxing is kind of a bit like a roller coaster. You get your highs and then it kind of goes up and down a little bit. Do you think right now this is the man that British boxing needs?
Yeah, the thing is, he's working on his own time. He's not in a situation where he has to box because of any situation, financial situation or anything like that. As he just said there, he's coming back because he misses his sport and wants to do it for the love of it. So, yeah, he's working on his own time frame. But of course, you know, he's one of the mavericks of this generation in boxing, and British boxing's missed him for sure.
When you've got kind of the natural talent and ability that Bill's got, was it as simple as him just walking back into the gym and, like he said, you might have to get the fitness up and maybe shed a few pounds, but as soon as he walked back in, was it kind of, yeah, he's still got it, ain't going to lose it sort of thing?
Yeah, it's like riding a bike for a minute, but you know, consistency and things like that, and a proper training camp, obviously you end up peaking for a fight, and at that level you start to tailor things towards opponents. But yeah, at the minute it's just about enjoying the sport, and like he said, he's working on his own time frames, so when he's ready.
And that's what I think it's more about now, is the more enjoyment side of things rather than the stress of, oh, you're mandatories, you're this one, you can't make that big fight because you got to deal with him and stuff like that. At the minute, it's sort of freed it up where I can actually fight anybody, negotiate a weight we want to fight at, you know, big, small, or whatever we need to get down to or what we want to come up to. It's just about enjoying it now and making some memory fights where you can always look back on and think, do you know what, I finished that very, very well. And I've got another 4 or 5 fights left in me because I haven't took much collateral damage, and I can stop when I want. But with the boxing, you don't realise how much you miss it till it's actually like you're not involved in it when you see the big shows. And then you know, after every boxing show, you think, right, tomorrow's the day, and then tomorrow's the day has been for me for 2 years. But I've shedded some pounds now, and you know, I'm going to continue obviously that way forward, moving forward. And I'm definitely open to be out this year anyway.
So, with you talking like that, I've got to ask a question. Did you kind of get to a point then where boxing weren't an enjoyment thing for you?
Listen, nothing's an enjoyment in boxing. You know, any fighter that says he loves being in this gym and he loves being away from his family, and you know, that's nothing but bullshit. You know, everybody wants to live comfortable and everybody wants to be around their loved ones, but when that time comes where you got to drop everything and just go, there's a very small minority of people who can just do that and crack on with the job. But missing everything that I've had before, you know, the hard training camps, you know, the being around the good people, the training camps abroad, and you know, being around boxing people, you actually miss it because when you've only had that all your life, you know, and that just gets removed, not through the fact of anything else, but I've pulled myself away from it for 2 years, sort of recharged me a little bit. And I'm looking forward to getting back in and putting some skills back on the show.
Yeah, I think what he said there is quite key. What he said before as well, where He become world champion in 2015. Didn't box Canelo until what, 2021? 6 years he was chasing to box who's deemed to be or was the best in his division at that weight, and politics and all the rest of it gets in the way of it, and it becomes about the prize. I know it's prize fighting, but it becomes about the prize more than it does about the actual love of it and want of it and all the rest of it, and all the politics getting away, and it changes the dynamic of it. But like he said, he's coming back out of the enjoyment and doing it and having fun and enjoying it, and he's not got no pressures of I've got to box a mandatory by this date, I've got to box this person, got to box that person, and if this fight's available I can't take it because of this. So I think it changes the dynamic, the situation that he's in now.
Obviously, anything or any fight Bill comes back in will be of big interest, especially over here. Do you look, Ben, at kind of a list of potential opponents and people that I know people would like to see him fight, and do you kind of have perhaps a one or two that you go, yeah, that's the one for me, that's the one that kind of gets me fired up?
I think we all know, obviously, the fights out there. You know, your John Ryder's just come off, a loss to Canelo, put up a good show. Obviously, you got Andrade. Obviously, Eubank's got to do a little bit to put himself back in the mix, but it's still a fight, and people probably would still pay to see that fight. So, there's a lot of fights out there where I can go out there and just have fun now. And we spoke about it before. There's some big names out there and some big nights of boxing under the lights and under the crowds that, everybody can enjoy. And the thing is, when I feel a bit sorry really for these champions sometimes and the fans, because they get robbed of the big fights when these men are in their prime, because of titles and other stuff on the line. But moving forward the way boxing is at the moment, talking for myself, especially for myself, I'm open now to fight anybody, really realistic, that the public's willing to pay and the public want to see, rather than what the promoter wants or, what the organisations want. What the public call for is what they're getting out of me, because I'm out there to enjoy it. I want to box in the biggest crowds possible, and the only way I'm going to achieve that is fighting, the names that the British public want me to fight. So we'll let them pick.
I know he need a win or two before, but Canelo, I think he's coming to the end of his career and he still hasn't boxed in the UK, and I'm sure he's always said that that's something he'd love to do, and I'm sure that's something that the public would love to see. Is that fight again? I know Billy Joe picked up the injury in the fight, but it was a close fight up until that point, so that's an option as well. So he's not short of any options.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,